Do you believe it's Dr. Doom?
What's on your evil mind?
Hold your insulting tongue and mock my words well.
How about this rumor that you are really Iron Man, Mr. Stark?
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Comic Book Chronicles. I am your host, Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter. You can find me at News Nerds Need on Twitter. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram.
South Carolina with Columbia down the way.
And sound effects you've heard come from none other than our man in Brooklyn, 1agent_70 on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads.
What's up, everybody? Co-hosting from the Borough of Kings. I am glad to be back in the saddle. Glad to be back in the Borough of Kings.
Is Brooklyn in the house? Without a doubt. Brooklyn! What up?
I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
That reminds me of another Brooklyn one that I need to clip out. The OG Brooklyn shout out, one would say. But until then, this is the Comic Book Chronicles. You can find us at the Cold Slither Podcast Network. That's CSPN.us.
Do it today.
You can also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Cold Slither Podcast Network's SoundCloud page.
Make sure to click a like, subscribe, leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts, because that definitely helps people find our show.
Yes. So, folks, we are going to get right into things with that's funny. The first show of the week that we're talking about, and that is Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, Season 2, Episode 8, which is called Separate Ways.
That's a good one. That's a good one. My goodness. So is it really Separate Ways? Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you know what? We get our first Godzilla and Titan X battle in this, and it does not disappoint. We kind of get a little bit of a classic Mothra based story, right? In this episode, you know, there are hints of that, and I will say that the heel turn that Kentaro takes, I was actively yelling at the screen. I'm like, "You moron!" So you know, I'll leave it at that. There's a lot of good from that to be appreciated in this episode, because we do get a lot of monster action. The human side of the story takes a little bit of a backseat, but we're definitely getting some movement in terms of what they're doing and where this is going, leading up to the ending of this particular season, because this is episode 8 of a 10-episode season. Roddykat, I'm handing it off to you.
Yeah, so I think the one bummer for me is that while we did get some Titan on Titan action, and there was definitely a kind of a let them fight thing going on, we didn't get the music that's usually associated with the one particular Titan, the king of the monster, someone would say, that we didn't get to. And I know they haven't done this in the show at all, but you know, and they usually reserve it for the movies. But it was still kind of a bummer. It's like, come on, you could have hit us with a couple of bars of that. Yeah. Even if it was like a slight remix of it, you could have done that. But no, they did not.
Call up Pharaoh Monch.
All right. But the majority of this episode to me was basically like, okay, who's going to be the one to actually mess things up in this situation?
Right.
And come to find out, it definitely was Kentaro. But at the same time, like there were other folks of the crew that was kind of bucking for the title with what they were doing. So it
what
was
did you think of the kind of Mothra, the usually Mothra style story?
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't go further in it, and they dang sure didn't explain. Well, not yet. I guess maybe I don't know if we're going to get an explanation on the part of it that that was revealed in last episode. This is and that's was kind of into play this episode more so, but outside of that, I'm like, you know what? Sure, it's all Monsterverse. You know what? We're not going to get actual more likely, but the way they're kind of hitting beats of it, like it works within the service of this universe.
Sure. So. I just kind of thought it was a cool adaptation of like kind of a classic Mothra centric story. So, I got that. I appreciate it. You could almost feel the emotion in how they animated Titan X.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I actually feel that. I sense that. That's actually pretty well done.
Right. Worth noting, the writer of this here episode was Mariko Tamaki.
Nice.
So
someone who can tell a real story in comic book form.
Mm-hmm. So they were in that bag, some would say. And also I know I think she's like an executive. She's definitely a part of the show in the other way outside of a writer. Because this might be the first one I've seen her write.
I think she's been in the writer's room.
Yes.
Like
probably,
similar to how Fraction was, like I guess an executive producer / writer in the writer's room for the previous. I don't think he's connected to this season, but he
is because his name pops up. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
his name pops up every episode. Mm-hmm. And I think she's like executive over scripts or something like that. So yeah, or something like that. So I don't know if she's written another episode outside of this that I can remember, but so it just so happened this one happened to be front and center. Regardless, though, yeah, another good episode. We still got a couple more to go. There's, I assume there's going to be some probably well-due backlash from what happens in this episode, but also it was kind of funny that let's just say a classic thing happens during the fight, the Titan fight, that somebody may have possibly gotten caught up in, which deserved, but it was just but that's kind of a weird, sad, side way to go out. But then again, it's like the way they take out people in the show. It's like, oh, there you go, here today, gone tomorrow. So, oh well. But that's that. But yeah, Monarch Legacy Monsters. We'll see what happens next episode, and hopefully, Godzilla don't chase him down real fast to keep things from happening. Based on what happened at the end of that fight, which actually kind of reminded me of something else in that fight. It was like, why are you going to go that way?
Mm-hmm.
What you're doing this dumb thing already. You just go into the line of sight, huh? You just real dumb. But anyway, you see the episode, you know what I'm talking about. Regardless, we are going to push off to the. Oh, wait a minute, is that? Yeah, it is. What up, Von Gloom? Shout out to Von Gloom in the chat. Who says I need Netflix or HBO to bundle with Apple TV because I'm not subscribing to another streaming service, not even for Godzilla. You know what? And fair point. Baby Gojira blows a circle of flames. There was
it's a circle of smoke.
Exactly. Now there was one of the characters did mention Gojira specifically because, well, that person's Japanese, so that would be their frame of reference. But yeah, and as far as I can know, the only thing you can bundle with Apple TV at this point is unless there's another way to do it, Peacock, and who wants that? But good to have you with you, Von Gloom. So we're going to push off to the next show that we were going to talk about, which is Star Wars Maul, Season 1, Episode 5 and 6, which are called Inquisition and Night of the Hunted.
Right. So we'll kind of cover these together because they do kind of flow into each other, and it's a 2-episode drop every week. And in Inquisition, the action in this, what happens in this episode is right there in the title. It's an Inquisition. The Empire is here on Janix, and they are investigating everyone and everything to get to the bottom of what is going on with these reported Jedi and or reported Maul sightings. And there actually are a couple of really great scenes in this that involve going on the run. And at the end of this episode, we get Lawson and his son further entrenched, further enmeshed in the Jedi story, right? In the runaway Jedi, or the on the run Jedi story. Episode 6, Night of the Hunted, involves a couple of really cool fight sequences as the chase is on. There's some really great action set pieces involving Maul, involving an Inquisitor who is on the chase of, who's on the tail of the 2 Jedi and now the Lawson's father and son. So that's a really brief description of what happens here. I will let Roddykat go further and give you some more details. Hopefully not spoiling too much. Take it away, Roddykat.
Yeah, no, never that. But just some stuff here and there. But yeah, as I just already said, there's definitely we get some Inquisition action happening, and of course, no one expects the Sith Inquisition. Which, well, at least let me phrase that. Some people do, except for the person who called the folks in this in the first place, who at some point started to realize, oh, wait a minute, I don't know if I like that, because they
2 boots stay licking.
They took something away from, or they denied him something that apparently we found why he's called 2 Boots as well, because I don't think we ever looked down at that character, the character's legs this whole time. So I was like, oh, so it was literal. Interesting. So, but yeah, that's kind of maybe setting in. I don't know if it just takes that, but I would hope it starts. But yeah, this is the one thing that has weirdly been messing with me this whole time. And actually, I'm going to get to what Von Gloom said in a second, because I kind of agree with what he was saying. But Lawson's accent in this whole thing vacillates kind of wildly. Because first you get kind of a Brooklyn, kind of street accent, and then you get like a kind of Latin accent that's kind of thick. And I'm sitting here like,
I noticed it too.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like, hold on, which width? Pick a lane.
I noticed it too.
So I was like, and sometimes it's
like,
kind of metal in the middle.
Yeah, he's one of those actors, like, who when they're either stressed or they're excited, the accent, a particular accent comes out.
Right. So I was like, okay, and it has been hitting me. Those like I said, it is quite noticeable. Yeah, and it's like, I'm like, all right, so we getting what we're doing here. We get a little bit of we get a little bit of mother-daughter in the same scene. They don't necessarily talk to each other because, like I said, I think last episode, a mother, Pamela and Gideon Adlon are both on the show, and they were in the same scene together. They didn't necessarily talk to each other, which I was like, I would have liked to have seen, but they were in the same shot, so I guess it counts. But yeah, we get basically more of Maul trying to groom this Padawan by whatever means, and the Empire is out there just trying to grab up everybody. The Empire does what the Empire does when it sets boots to the ground in this time frame. Much to the dismay of everybody involved, with the exception of the Empire and two boots at this point. So a lot of action, a lot of things. Thankfully, no fatalities or no major fatalities. But that being the case, gonna move on to. Oh, actually, let me get to what Von Gloom says. So Von Gloom says, "I am partially upset that they are still milking Maul, but I am enjoying the story." Yeah, and that's kind of what thing that the Star Wars stories have been doing, and some stuff like, right. Why do we need this? But then they turn out to be pretty decent stories, Sure. Like Skeleton Crew. Like no one asked for that, but it actually ended up being halfway decent. I still think that one kid should have died, but as therein lies that even Acolyte was good, but he died too young. Solo, I don't know. I still maintain that one probably wasn't necessary, but it is what it is. Von Gloom says, "I want Maul to steal an Inquisitor's lightsaber." I mean, that could have almost happened, right? Potentially. And also, I guess talking about two boots. Wonder what is cybernetics? Oh, you talking about? You talking about Maul? What is the cybernetics maintenance routine is like? I think you saw there was in one of the episodes you saw a little bit of that. Right. Granted, it was from a previous entry, but I suspect you saw pretty much what that entails. He gets a tune up every now and then. You gotta socket wrench that a little bit every now and then. Von Gloom also says the Empire's behavior reminds me too much of a character. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure one wants to liken itself to the other in that situation. So yeah, I'm not surprised that you would feel that way, because it is pretty much the case. It seems to pretty much the case. That being the case, though, that is it for Star Wars Maul. We are going to get
the Empire's behavior reminds us too much of current political environment. Yes. I just wanted to emphasize that.
Absolutely. And speaking of empires that are crumbling, Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 6, called Requiem.
I was about to say, if you want more allegory and more parallels, here's Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 6, Requiem, where no spoiler, because it's been dropped everywhere. Jessica Jones enters the MCU proper.
Yeah, she's back, babies.
Yeah, and there are story elements introduced that help to account for a bit of a time gap for incorporating the Netflix MCU into the MCU proper.
Of which is what I was told Age of 7 earlier. I'm like, wait, when did this happen?
Yeah,
because part of it was like
screen in the transition between Netflix and Marvel,
right,
and Disney.
Right.
That's when all that stuff happened, and clearly we're going to hear at least some explanation at some point in the future, but not here.
Right.
So
there may be a drum hit. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I was about to say you were saying.
No, I was about to say we may have gotten a hint to the whereabouts of another Netflix character, quite possibly.
Yeah, a Netflix Marvel MCU character, right? But we haven't gotten that character officially introduced into the Disney, Marvel MCU proper at this point. But yeah, we run into all the characters who are moving the story along in various precarious places, right? We have Bullseye recuperating, convalescing, kind of, getting some help from not the night nurse who I thought was going to show up, but a nurse that is pre-existing in this particular story.
With a bad bedside manner for good reasons.
Yes. we also catch up with Buck Cashman, who plants a relatively good idea in the mind of Daniel, and he employs it only to see it kind of backfire or not work because of reasons he could not exactly foresee. This plan involves BB slash the stand-in for Ben Urich, and
being kind of dumb.
yeah, and ultimately we get to a point in this story that brings us to one Daredevil fighting Kingpin in a face-off that that leaves both of them battered, bloody, but at a draw. And we end the episode with Karen Page doing Karen Page things, but getting into some trouble because of it.
Mm-hmm. The only
And I'll
thing to
hand
add
it off
to
to
that,
Roddykat. Yeah.
the only thing to add to that is we see Buck and Heather possibly getting close.
Yes, in some really, really odd, definitely not safe for kids, sexually charged content on Disney Plus.
Right, one and or both of them might have liked that scene a little too much.
Yep.
But we also see a couple of side characters either almost get got or about to get got, or in one case get got, which you saw coming a mile away. And yeah, that whole thing with that fight, that last fight scene with Daredevil and Kingpin was like, you know what, it kind of felt like we've done this before. And matter of fact, it almost felt like it was said. It was like, you know what, we've done this before. Why do we got to do this again? And then they end up doing it again in true fashion to a point. Yep. So I was like, and I thought for like 5 seconds, like, you know what, that would have been something I would thought they would have saved for the last episode. But I guess they wanted to get out of the way. Maybe there's another one coming. Who knows? I don't think so. But yeah, BB was being stupid, but good thing she, emotions got in the way and she smartened up, or, we're going to chalk it up to that.
Pretty much.
But yeah, and as Jim said, the tie to the next flick show to this is there. And like I said, when that first scene happened, I was like, wait, what? So, because I don't remember that particular thing. Like, I know, like I said, there's a couple of the old shows that I still need to go back and actually either finish them or watch it, because I don't even think I saw season 2, but from what I did and some little bit of research was some season 1 Jessica Jones mess, and I'm like, I don't remember that because I absolutely
there's a lot of stuff. Trust me, there's a lot of stuff that happened off screen.
Right, it's some heavy lifting during
that. Right, you're not missing. I don't think you're missing a connection here. I think a lot of this stuff is implied to have happened off screen. We'll get like some retconning going on at some point very soon.
Right, but let's just say a relatively comic accurate relationship happens, and what came from said relationship is what pops up, put it that way. So cool. But yeah, folks in people's ears, yada yada, should we kill? That conversation keeps coming up during the course of the season, and to which goes nowhere. So, and kids, don't play with flash grenades. Don't do it. That's being the case, we are going to move on to the last show that we have of the week, and in fact the last one of this season for this show, which is Invincible season 2 episode 10, called Don't Leave Me Hanging Here, which they did the whole show.
10? Holy cow.
Yeah, I believe that
I thought it was only 8 episodes.
Wait, yes, you might be right. I might be thinking of one of the other shows. I'm going to check.
Right,
quick.
Monarch is 10. Right, Monarch is 10.
Right, and so is so
it was Maul, right?
So is Maul. So is Daredevil, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But
right. The only reason why I mentioned it is that
8. You are correct. It is 8.
Right. The only reason why it was a salient point at the front of my brain is that I thought it was a little short, but then I realized this is what we have in this season 4, where we've gotten the story of the Viltrumite War in 8 parts, basically. And the 8 parts, yeah, I get it. We get to this point where the war is quote unquote technically over, and we have an aftermath, and we're faced with Mark is faced with a decision that I thought was very jarring. Right, I thought it was pretty effectively told. I thought that it was a great dramatic device that the storytellers, excuse me, that the creators of this series, this animated series, used as another storytelling device to keep things going. There's also, fair warning, post-credit stinger that lays down what the stakes are going to be for the next season. And with that, I'll hand it off to Roddykat, because this just dropped yesterday. I'm not trying to spoil too much.
Yep, and nor should we. First, let me get to what Von Gloom says. He said, going back to Maul. Maul needs to copy Grievous's leg mechanics. Then he would be a speed demon. But yeah. So, needless to say, Mark was going through it in this episode of Invincible, and honestly, he slightly took me for the ride, along with the ride, because there are things that happened during the course of the episode that that Mark was kind of going through. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. After, let's put it this way, things have been weighing on him after the events of Viltrumite War, and they were coming out in a specific way that has a name that I won't say, that I won't mention, but I won't. But y'all know what it is when the stress gets up on you like that.
Right, and they kind of use to hold that thought. They kind of use this post stress, right?
There you go.
This PTSD, right?
There you go. You did it.
But to illustrate, to animate opportunities for jump scares, which was hysterical to me, because you don't traditionally think of animated fare as having jump scares, but they were really well done.
Right. Yeah, it depends on the show, but yes, you are absolutely right. And yeah, it wasn't, like I said, it took me along for the ride too, because like I said last time, the show, being what it is and who is by what, we already know, like, anybody could get it in any different time, and they basically put that to work.
Sure, in a very gory way in this one.
Too. Yeah.
It's always going to be a gory way.
Right. So I'm sitting here watching, like, all right, what's going to happen? And boop, thing happens. But oh no, it's cool. Got to it was fine after, well, not fine after the point, because it's even after all of that, I was like, okay, so somebody's clearly, they're not just gonna do just this, and somebody's not gonna actually get it. And couldn't find out, yeah, that's exactly what happened. But yeah, the ending that was before the credits, as far as I know, like I said, neither Agent 70 or I have read the comics. Again, as we have said previously, we wouldn't know any better. So what happens was an interesting turn to the sort of thing. If you had told me that was actually in the comic books, which I believe it is, might not be, then I would have been like, yeah, okay, that sounds like something this comic book would do. Also, I believe something there was a conversation mid show that I am also not entirely sure was in the comic book night. I could have sworn the conversation ended another way and kind of went from there, but I don't know if that's the case. I have to look that one. We'll have to look up. Regardless, though, like I just said, the show just dropped, so folks can check out to see what I'm talking about there. I will say, it is kind of a spoiler. It's more of an Easter egg than a spoiler, but look closely for a certain bus in a scene. It's a blinking you miss, but it's definitely an Easter egg that has to do with one of the characters in a side character at that in the show. So therein lies that. Von Gloom says they changed the order of the encounter in the show, and also they made Thula, the killer ponytail woman, way older. The older the ponytail, the Viltrumite, way older. So okay, did not know that as well. But yeah, that's Invincible. Because there's a part of really say this. The beginning of the show, usually folks are kind of up on things that happen on Earth. Something happens at the beginning of the episode that I'm just like, how did no one see this? That would normally see such things like this. So that part kind of messed me up for a second as well. Because I think as far as I know, it very much as far as I know, it actually happened. Or maybe they were trying to say it didn't, but there was no telltale way to say one way or the other. You know? So, but it just kind of weird to me. It was like, okay, no one just acknowledged this thing that happened at the beginning of the show. So, but it was just weird to me. Either way, that's Invincible, and that ends all the shows that we have for the week.
Common.
Yes, well,
in common yes. At least, right?
Oh, right, I forgot. That's right, because you still got to do the boys. I forgot about that.
Right. So season 5, episode 4 of The Boys, King of Hell, came out this week, and I only talk about this very quickly because Roddykat does not watch this show. But yeah, the kind of scary real world allegory continues. Homelander has very much a god complex, like a literal messiah / god complex, and the boys team are on a mission that shows some of their deepest, darkest animosity towards each other, and it's kind of an age-old trope of getting people to getting the protagonists to face off against each other while under the influence or control of somebody else. And it was a pretty cool thing to see on the screen. We have also Soldier Boy and Homelander, getting to know you, getting to know all about you, and realizing that, yeah, they really don't like each other, or at least, let's say it's a one-sided, how can I best put this without spoiling it too badly? It's definitely one side liking the other way more than the other side, liking the former. So, I mean, that's a convoluted way of saying there's two people, only one of them likes the other. It is still just a touch too violent for me, but I get why people like it. So, I get why it sells, right? So, it's still satire, and I hope people remember that it's satire. There are unfortunately people that don't recognize that it's satire. So that's it for The Boys this week. We are just about, I believe, at the halfway point of the season. I believe it's 8 episodes. It could be 10.
No, I just got off the page. That sounds like it could be right. Because that was episode 4.
Yep.
Correct? Yeah. So I believe that you might be right about that.
I'll double check.
Yeah. All right. That being the case, we are going to push off to the one book of the week that we have in common.
It's one of those. It's really one of those weeks, man.
Yeah, kinda. Although it probably would have been 2 if I had read one book, or 87 had read another book. But it is what it is. And that book is, I will probably cut this in later on after the show because I don't feel like doing it right now. But ThunderCats, SilverHawks, ThunderHawks, number 1 of 5, if I'm not mistaken.
ThunderHawks. They're not on the loose, kind of. So, this book is written by Ed Brisson with art by Vincenzo Federici. Uh, Colors are by Robbie Bavard, and letters are by Jeff Eckelberry. We are in the future. What is it? The Sixth Earth, and this group of time lost ThunderCats slash SilverHawks, hence ThunderHawks, are trying to get not Thundranium but Thundrillium away from the bad Silverhawk, the Darkhawks, I think they're called. Nobody loves Darkhawk, right? Nobody loves Darkhawk, right? All the Darkhawks are pooped on, right? Apparently, and and you know, that's essentially the story that we have here. This is one of 5. You know, I'm personally, you know, eagerly anticipating this group finally figuring out a way to get to present day New Thundera and linking up with the current Thundercats. But you know, we'll see. Hopefully the journey is good and it pays off. That's my hope. What did you think, Roddykat?
I agree. I do hope it pays off because, you know, all of this setup and whatnot, and for a thing that people have been wanting for decades at this point, or at least, you know, folks of our vintage anyway. You know, hopefully it pays off. The story pays off and leads to other things in the future. You know, maybe not Street Sharks or Tiger Sharks or any of those other side characters that are similar, or side jokers that are similar, but, you know, maybe, you know, maybe a little bit more crossover between the two. Maybe they'll even bring the SilverHawks book back. Who's to say? But, you know, we're not there just yet. And I would suspect we probably, I don't know if it was intentional for them to kill the book when they did, or it was just like low sales and, you know, they were getting to this point anyway. But you know, maybe, like I said, it'll come back. You know, will the Lost Team take their rightful place as the 3rd season Thundercats, like they did in the past? Who's to say? Will they keep their upgrades? Who's to say? Will a couple of them make it out? Who's also to say? Because that's kind of a thing. Even though that was kind of a misnomer, because like I said, the Thundercats Lost book was like, oh, not everybody's gonna make it out of this book, which technically is true, but not true. So
Okay.
Yeah, because as we saw later on in the Thundercats book, yeah, he was all right. It was fine. It was cool. But regardless,
they circled back apparently.
Yeah, they was like, oh no, by the way, fooled you, sort of. So yeah, we'll see how that all shakes out in doing this conference. That's it. 5 books apiece. You know, we got the Mumra thing we talked about last week, this book, and then the regular Thundercats book. So we got a decent bit of a ride ahead of us in this. So hopefully good. But Von Gloom says, kind of cool that they refined the Silverhawks process to wearable armor versus, yeah, it's the future. You get it to full versus full cycle next. It's the future. So yeah, they can do things like that. You know, again, like what's going to happen with that going further with this? I suspect. So there is definitely feels like a kind of a Terminator thing kind of going on with this, as we saw from that first issue of Thundercats, the crossover. And as we saw from the one shot that the Thundercats Lost book was in, and partially this, yeah, their mission didn't exactly go, at least at the time, the way they hoped it would, and still kind of going, which is weird because it's in the future. So we're another one of those situations going on. But yeah, right. When they get back to the rightful time and place, and things happen, we'll work it out there, I guess. That being the case, though, that is it for the books that we have in common. Rapid fire.
Alrighty, rapid fire review time as we get through the books that we did read. It's not, you know, it's not like we didn't read a lot of books this week. We just didn't have a lot in common. Here we go.
I ain't got time to bleed.
All right, first up is Amazing Spider-Man number 27. It's published by Marvel. It's written by Joe Kelly with pencils by Ed McGuinness, Carlos Gomez, and Francesco Mana. Inks on this book are by Mark Farmer, Wade Von Grawbadger, Ed McGuinness, Carlos Gomez, and Francesco Mana. Colors are by Marcio Miniz and Eric Arciniega, and letters on this book are by our favorite lettering paisan, VC's Joe Caramano. You're going to hear me say his name a lot today because he was a busy man this week. In this issue of Amazing Spider-Man, this is technically the finale of Death Spiral. And boy, does it end with a whimper. I know that there is another Torment related book coming out soon. I saw it in the solicitations. But in terms of this Death Spiral story, this is technically the end. And it does, kind of culminate with the bad guy seemingly, biting, let's just say, meeting his end, right? I won't say how, right? But it does seem like the bad guy, the big bad in this crossover series, meets his end. We don't know if this is the finale or the final act for this particular character yet. As I said, there is like an Omega style issue to wrap up this Death Spiral crossover coming up. This was pretty underwhelming, right? I was fairly disappointed. I was wondering if this was going to come out to be a more fun Maximum Carnage, and it was just underwhelming. It may end up being more of a launching point for another future of, like a future reveal that we've talked about in our in the news, that may possibly be coming up and is being teased in solicits. So we'll see where the story in Amazing Spider-Man goes. Again, this Joe Kelly Amazing Spider-Man run is pretty underwhelming right now. I don't know why I keep kind of diving back into it, but it's what it is. Next up is Captain America number 9, published by Marvel. It's written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Ton Lima. Colors are by Romulo Fajardo, and letters, again, are by our favorite lettering paisan, VC's Joe Caramagna. Cap is siding with a certain group of freedom fighters in Latveria, and they're looking to stoke the seeds of civil war / rebellion against Salvation, who is basically a former compatriot of Captain America in Latveria, when they battled against Doctor Doom. But now Salvation seems to become the replacement tyrant, and that's essentially the crux of this story. We'll see how this plays out and how this flows into Armageddon this summer. Next up is a pretty fun, kind of. Fun is maybe the wrong word, but a pretty engaging story. Mark Spector Moon Knight number 3, published by Marvel. It's written by Jed McKay with art by Devmalia Pramanik, colors by Rochelle Rosenberg, and letters by VC's Corey Petit. This is a surprising candidate for Click of the Week for me, because I've been reading Moon Knight just to stay on top of what's going on, but I really thought that this issue was really strong. It involves a big showdown between Mark Spector and Bushman. And if you are familiar with the history of Moon Knight, you know that Bushman is basically one of the major villains or rogues in Moon Knight's Rogues Gallery. Zodiac is also part of the story. It's really like a big, it's a big showing for Moon Knight and his and the depth of his rogues gallery and how effective the stories in Moon Knight can be. So I really appreciated this book. I'm definitely going to circle back to my local comic shop and see if I can't pick up the first couple of issues of this Mark Spector Moon Knight, because they've proven to be pretty good. Next up for me is Marvel DC Spider-Man Superman #1, jointly published by Marvel and DC. Before I get into the credits, which are long, I will tell you that this is a lead candidate for Click of the Week for me, and I will tell you why when I get through all of these credits. I'm going to have to take a sip of water to wet my whistle because there are a lot of stories here. All right. The first story is written by Brad Meltzer, with art by Pepe Larraz, colors are by Matthew Wilson, and letters are by VC's Clayton Cowles. Story 2 is written by Dan Slott, with art by Marcos Martin, colors by Munza Vicente, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. Story 3 is written by Joe Kelly, with art by Humberto Ramos, colors by Edgar Delgado, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. Story 4 is written by Jeff Johns, with art by Gary Frank, colors are by Brad Anderson, and letters are by VC's Joe Caramagna. Story 5 is... Give me a moment. I got tied up making an edit, so I had to take care of that. Story 5 is written by Louise Simonson, with art by Todd Knock, colors by Rochelle Rosenberg, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. Story 6 is written by Stephanie Phillips, with art by Phil Noto, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. Story 7 is written by Brian Michael Bendis, with art by Sarah Pichelli, colors by Federico Blee, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. Story 8 is written by Jason Aaron, with art by Russell Dowderman, colors by Matthew Wilson, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. Story 9 is written by Jeff Loeb, with art by Jim Chung, colors by J. David Ramos, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. So if I could have gotten away with saying the first story, the lead story, is lettered by VC's Clayton Cowles, and the rest of the book is lettered by lettered by VC's Joe Caramagna, you're right. I should have done that. But in any event, the lead story, I think, is a prime example of why I stay a Marvel zombie and DC stays losing. But let me explain. These anthologies, these crossover anthologies, often kind of degenerate into kind of silly stories or throwaway stories. And I'm not saying that this anthology does not contain that. Rather, I feel like the characters, I think, were placed front and center in all of these stories, especially the main story told by Brad Meltzer and Pepe Larraz. So it just, I couldn't help but, admire at how well that story came across, and how well that story was told, right? It is about the Marvel characters. Shout out also to the Jeff Johns story with Gary Frank on pencils. Wheezy Simonson tells kind of a fun story with Thor and Steel. Bendis and Pichelli reunite to tell a fun Miles and Superman story. Jason Aaron and Russell Dowderman reunite to tell a fun Jane Foster Thor story with Supergirl. And Jeff Loeb and Jim Chung do, just not just but a Spider-Man Superman story. And Slott and Marcos Martin get together to do Spider-Man Noir and Superman story, kind of a period piece. So and Joe Kelly and Humberto Ramos do a story with Lana Lang and Gwen Stacy. Talk about doing it, with the lesser expected love interests of the two lead characters. So, overall, I really enjoyed this Marvel DC Spider-Man Superman #1 much more than I did the DC version. that came out. What is it? A month ago? Something like that. Some time ago,
Something like
like a few
that.
weeks
Yeah.
ago. Right. So like several weeks ago, let's say. So I enjoyed this far more. I think this is far more worth everyone's dollar when they go to their local comic shop. So go pick that up. I know that they've already hit second printings of this book. I think that was in the news this week, so I did see that. Next up for me is another clear candidate for Kliq of the Week for me. Absolute Wonder Woman number 19. It's published by DC. It's written by Kelly Thompson with art by Hayden Sherman, colors by Jordi Belair, and letters by Becca Carey. Not only do we get in this story even more backstory for Diana, right, Princess of the Themyscira, right? We get some more, let's say, lore building when it comes to Zatanna, as well as her father, Zatara. I believe that's the father's name.
Yes.
But ultimately, this lore is the absolute version, and yeah, I agree. Von Gloom, Absolute Wonder Woman is incredibly wunderbar, right? Definitely a clear candidate for Kliq of the Week for me. You know, great stuff. And in terms of the total number of books, I did not get to a lot this week because that Marvel DC Spider-Man Superman was pretty good, and it took up, and it took some time to get through. So that's it for me.
Wunderbar. As Nightcrawler would say. For myself, which cover am I going to do? Which cover is the A cover? That's the question.
Von Gloom, quick question while Roddykat is going through this. What is your local comic shop here in the city?
Oh, good question. Good question. While we wait for
Right,
an
if
answer.
you don't have, I was about to say, if you don't have a local, you can drop the names of a couple that you go to, because I definitely go to more than one. I do have a technically local comic shop that I have a pull list at, but my office is literally across the street from the Times Square location of Midtown Comics.
Well, aren't you all lucky to be in a populated area? That's not sarcasm, though. It's just, I mean, okay, it's a little bit of sarcasm. Regardless,
A little bit, I know.
Yeah, a little bit. But while we're waiting for the answer for that, G.I. Joe. Shoot, I should have done the thing that I should have done, but that's fine. It'll be in post. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero.
He says that he was at Midtown mostly. Oh yeah, see, look, you were right around the corner, right? My current gig is literally across the street on 7th Avenue.
Oops.
But I have a local comic shop here in Brooklyn that I patronize. So
is that the one?
I was going to say shout out to Bulletproof Comics.
Indeed, is that the one you frequent, Von Gloom? Or excuse me, I assume that was the one you frequent. Is there one you frequent now, where you are now? But anyway, we'll wait for that while I say G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Ssilent Missions, Copperhead #1, of which had me saying,
What?
Oh no!
not to saying that it wasn't an interesting story, but of all,
Right, but this is the driver of the water moccasin, right?
Sure, yeah. That was the other thing. I was like, so who the fuck is Copperhead? Like, was he that pertinent to the Cobra story or not? But so that you said that before, and I get into the credits before I answer that question, which the creative team is. Written in the art by Howard Porter, colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr. And of course, since it's silent, there is no lettering. But after I thought, Joe got, but it wasn't that Joe, we find Copperhead doing a mission for Cobra, and what he gets into after said mission, some of which end up being some soul searching and a little bit of Fast and Furious action with a little bit of questing sprinkled in the midst of it, before going back to do Cobra stuff. And as I say in my notes, it's a little bit Fast and Furious. It's also a little bit Speed Racer, but part of it kind of seems like wacky races. If you're a youngin, you probably don't know the reference, but that's okay. Ask your people, or it was on Boomerang. You probably seen it. Who knows? But regardless, it was, like I said, I guess part of my reason why I said why is because of what I said earlier, but also, they could have switched the places with the Zartan book last week into with this one, because I don't think they have any rhyme or reason as to the order, because as we know, the Baroness was first, and I believe the last one next week is like Firefly, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, but Firefly is a little more popular in terms of like the Cobra characters.
Agree. And since Destro had a miniseries, I guess they weren't going to do that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and Major Blood didn't even have one of these silent instruments. Like, why would you not give him one? As opposed to Copperhead. Like, Major Blood does show up in the Zartan one. I mentioned that last week, but still, like, there's other bigger, hell, give it to the motherfucker that drove the Thunder Machine. Don't do that. No, but I'm just saying they could have gave one to Zatanna, at the very least, but Copperhead of all people. Regardless, but that being said, it actually ended up being a kind of a fun story. Like I said, everything I said being Fast and Furious and the references that I said end up being the case in that. So it's kind of sad, kind of funny. Vine Gloom said that they're in
Connecticut.
Yes, they would occasionally visit Forbidden Planet if they were down by Union Square. They're in Connecticut, so haven't found a new LCS yet. But,
yeah, that's tough, man, because I was just Google mapping comic book shops in Connecticut, and it looks like they're concentrated, like a lot of places, concentrated around cities and towns. Right? If you're not close to a particular city or town that has it, then you're kind of trekking to get to a comic shop, to establish, a bond and maybe a pull list. So I get that. It's not easy, when they're few and far in between.
Right. And living in a place that's not as populated as heavily populated as you guys and have less shops per capita. Yeah, I feel right. That. So, but yeah, Von Gloop says, Wacky Races, take you old school Cartoon Network and Boomerang. Also a big F to David Zaslav for taking them away from us. We will be mentioning that name again a little later in the show. So, get your appropriate response later. Actually, it might not even elicit that response once we get to that story. But that's the Silent Mission Copperhead. Like I said, one more to go. I believe it's Firefly, and we'll talk about that next week. Next up for me, this one is a good one because I'm going to hopefully not get us copyright stricken by something that I end up doing for this next one. And you'll understand why I'm going to end up doing for a couple of reasons. And I just haven't specifically will when I do it. Going back to an earlier conversation. Void Rivals number 2. I'm sorry for yelling so much. Void Rivals number 29, written by Robert Kirkman, art by Andre Bresson, colors by D. Cuniff, and letters by Russ Wooton. This is a potential click of the week for myself. This is also, yes, Von Gloom, you do. This is also the Quintesson War Part 5 of 5, which would normally say that, hey, that's the end of this event and therefore the end of the story. Well, part of that is true, but because the story is still going to continue at in the next episode, because the way they left it off is doesn't conclude things. So with that, like I said, the war's still going on. We got some folks trying to get into place. We got Zertatrions trying to make their way to Vector Theta to wish on the Dragon Ball. Pythona does some parkour to get to where she's trying to get. Again, the war's still kind of going on Agoria and Zertonia. So, well, actually, technically, one of them, it kind of ended, which had a character making a valiant effort to do a save play and didn't work out, which leads to, if you are watching the video version, yes, folks, the thing that you see on the cover and may have seen in a well-noted movie, of which I am about to play a long clip of, so buckle up for that, does happen. So hopefully you'll be able to listen, hear this.
Has the Imperial Magistrate reached a
So I'm just going to play the audio of it, because for some stupid reason, the video won't play. By the way, folks, shout out to the founders of the Cold Slither Podcast and the Cold Slither Podcast Network, as you are about to hear a very notable sound clip that is played in pretty much played in every episode, which is...
Has the Imperial Magistrate reached a verdict? Guilty. Has the Imperial Magistrate reached a verdict? I have. Guilty or innocent. Spare me this mockery of justice! I repeat, guilty or innocent? Innocent. Feed him to the Sharkticons.
That was awesome.
Yes, indeed. I had to do a good bit of tracking for that. Well, I did not much. My Google Food was all right, but that was also led to Age of 70, the conversation we had before the show, which led to me showing you that we listening to that one clip from another past show.
Yeah,
So,
shout out to the originators of Cold Slither Podcast Network. That's Classic Materia, now known as OJ Purple Stuff, or what is he nowadays? Is that it?
no,
Nowadays?
that's it.
You know, at Eclectic and at TimDog98.
I could have lined up that video with the audio a little bit more had I thought about it, but that's fine. It'll work out. Yeah, it'll work out. Didn't even get to the last end of the video, but that's okay. But yeah, that's pretty much Void Rifle. That's all you really need to say no about Void Rifles for this week.
Nice.
What's going to happen next week? You know, because like I said, a version of that absolutely happened in pretty much almost the same way. So they knew what they were doing. And I'm sorry if that's a spoiler for anybody out there, but you know, I think you'll forgive me for this one. But next up, we are going to go to another classic in a different way, and that classic is DuckTales. Woo! I'm sure there will definitely be a soundbite of that one. Written by Brandon Montclair, art by Tommaso Randa, and letters by Fabio Amelia. So this one's going to be quick because it's another adventure with the Scrooge and the boys. This one's taking place under the sea, to quote another Disney property. You know, Uncle Scrooge and the boys found a lost library, but this library kind of comes with a hitch, and the knowledge contained in it comes with a hitch, which also comes with a couple of life lessons that you know, the Scrooge and kind of doles out during the course, which is kind of happens in every issue of this book, which kind of makes it, you know, kind of fun in a way. You know, as Scrooge and the boys are going on these adventures, he's, you know, kind of doling out little bits of life lessons and whatnot, and or sometimes, you know, throwing in old stories, you know, that kind of complete the current story. That doesn't happen in this particular issue. So, but it almost also felt like this was the last issue of this series. But there's been a couple of issues in the past that kind of read also like that because of how it ends. But they were basically kind of one and done stories of, you know, just like almost like almost the show would do. It was like, hey, here's the adventure of the week, you know, and they push on. So that's may be the case here, but I don't know. I forgot to look at the solicitations to see if it's still have anything coming out. But we'll see. Next up, Cyclops, number 3 of, I believe, 5, if I'm not mistaken. Written by Alex Packnadel, art by Roger Antonio, color artist for Cifuentes Sujo, letters by BC's Joe Caramagna. So you already know the story of this if you've been paying attention to the last episodes of the Comic Book Chronicles, because Agent 7 has been the one talking about this book. Cyclops is pretty much out there on his own, beset by Reavers, and there's a new mutant and some other mutants that are around that gonna need some saving. Well, you know, you gotta hinder Cyclops one way, shape, or form. So what you do, you get rid of his goggles. And what do they do in this issue, which will spoil a slight one thing in this issue? They get rid of his goggles. But I think he'll be all right. If they do the thing that I think they're going to do that they didn't show in this issue. But yeah, so that whole thing's going on. Another Quinjet got shot down, sadly, going into this. You know, the Quinjets don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. And Beast, you know, for rebuilding them, don't deserve to have to rebuild another one, because people can't, you know, keep his stuff properly. It's a damn shame, really. Damn shame. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. A mutant kid ends up in a Star Trek situation, sadly, at the beginning of this book. And also Q Agbar, for, you know, a part of the book. Also, I think Scott might be part Batman, because apparently he has a utility belt or something. Don't know.
It's a trap.
Thank you very much. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to go too far into it, because I think I'm just gonna read this at some point. Yeah,
definitely.
So that's enough to wet the whistle, some would say. Next book for myself, we go into a little bit of Sorcerer Supreme number 5. Written by Steve Orlando, art by Bernard Chang, color artist Ruth Redmond, and letters by VC's Joe Sabino. Haha, gotcha. So Agatha, after the events of last issue and the fight with Wanda, is still being Agatha as she's convalescing. You know, Wanda and her and whoever the other couple of people chat before Wanda gets whisked away to help out Clea, who is being beset by who I keep forgetting is a family member of hers, in the form of the Dread Dormammu, who is also a Doctor Strange staple, Rose Gallery, who also did not come to bargain, but come to pester his family, let's just say. So Wanda kind of comes in, helps out, you know, and this is you know, kind of a thing that happens. Bats shows up and still best boy, so best ghost dog in this issue. So therein lies that. Wanda gives a couple of gifts, one of which is kind of amusing at the outset of this. Or actually, both of them end up being kind of amusing in one way, shape, or form, thanks to Dormammu. And apparently we got a new type of mindless one that may or may not have gotten introduced in this story. There's also a reference to One World Under Doom and a certain section of that with another S Supreme that happened in that story, which conveniently gave something that ends up being useful here that we never saw, because that kind of thing happens. But never mind all of that, because, you know, somewhere out in the universe, something else stirs that's going to pop up in this book sooner rather than later. And that, folks, is it for me. Kliqs of the week.
Kliqs of the week.
Brian Galoom says, a red shirt. Not yes and no. Not quite in the way that normally things would happen, but kinda. Also says a hound version of the Moundless. Well, I shouldn't have said that, but it's fine. It is what it is. Yes, a hound version of the Moundless one is cool. I want a figurine as bad as I want the Shredhead action figure. Which, by the way, folks out there who may be listening and or watching this, in the clickbait section, our very own friend of the show here, Von Gloom, did a spotlight, one of his many spotlights of said character Shredhead. This was from like a year or so ago, so this probably might not be the first time. Might not be the first time we've mentioned it on the show, or even put it in the clickbait section. But it is in the clickbait section again, because it dropped on my it came back across on my timeline. So I was like, you know what, let's throw that back in there. Why not? But also Von Gloom says the dread one is that uncle in every family. Yeah. In this particular case, yeah, it's a little bit more predatory than needed to be. But you know, we'll move past that. So yeah, Kliqs of the week. Do you have yours, or do you have your potentials? I should say.
I do. My potentials are pretty clear to me. My top 3 are Mark Spector Moon Knight number 3. That's the surprise entry in Kliq of the Week territory this week. The next one is Marvel DC Spider-Man Superman number 1. And lastly, but not least, definitely not least, is Absolute Wonder Woman number 19.
Shout out to that Sanford Green Marvel DC Spidey cover. I don't think we'll be able to find that anywhere soon, but that's cool. Oh yeah, I need to go ahead and.
I think that
is. Yeah,
that
it is.
sucks.
Yeah. But yeah, I need to go ahead and catch up on Absolute Wonder Woman. I got them on deck. I just need to go ahead and pour into it. So Von Gloom says made a Shredhead short recently. Actually, I think that's what prompted me to get that, because yes, I did, because I did look at that, and that's what prompted me to go and get the original recipe. So Von Gloom says, I will keep on making one until Hasbro makes things right. There you go. Do it. But for myself, actually, I wanted to call out something real quick before I get into mine. Neither one of us read Amazing Spider-Man Spider-Versity, aka Norman Osborn teaches the spiders how to be spiders. Stupidity. But that is the thing that came out this week. But for myself, yeah, that Sanford Green cover is great. I would love to get a copy of that one if I could. But for myself, for my potential Kliqs of the weeks, like Cyclops, actually number 3, is one of them. What is the other one? I don't. Oh, I did say. Oh yeah, Void Rivals number 29. I think that might actually end up being the one that gets it. And ThunderCats SilverHawks, ThunderHawks number 1 is probably the other one. So yeah. Von Gloom says Norman looks creepy as hell. Yeah, he always does, but I guess in this particular case, probably more so. That's being the case, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Void Rivals number 29 is mine. If the reasons are not obvious to folks, then you haven't been around this show and this network a long time. A long enough time. So that is mine. What is yours, Agent 70? If you got it.
I'm gonna stick with my guns, because I really enjoyed, believe it or not, the Marvel DC Spider-Man Superman number 1 book. Absolute Wonder Woman is consistently one of the best books out there. But I think this week this anthology, this crossover anthology, took the cake, as it were. So I'll go with Marvel DC Spider-Man Superman number 1. I know it's a relatively high price point. If you're able to get out to your local comic shop, any local comic shop, and if you have the scratch to foot the bill for an $8 comic, then I think this one is worth it. So, and that's saying a lot in this day and age, in this economy, in this world that we're living in, that's on fire. So
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. Von Gloom asks, speaking of Spider-Man, is the Disney Plus Spider-Man cartoon canceled? If you're talking about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, not the last
No,
time I checked. As far as I'm aware,
no,
they're still working on season 2.
right.
Last I checked. So I hope not, because that
It's
show was
just
actually
gonna
pretty
take.
good.
It was just gonna take a while. I remember
Right,
that being a thing.
right. So, which yeah, and there were a couple of shows that were kind of in a similar vein. So yeah, and that just happened to be one of them. So as far as we know, that's still a thing. Now if you're talking about the ones for the little kids, hey, no one knows and no one cares. But I'm pretty sure they'll drop another one of those at some point, regardless.
Listen, I like those too. Those Spidey and his amazing friends. Those are fun.
Mm. Is that Iron Man one out already? Did that one already come out?
I think so.
Mm.
I haven't watched it, but I like the Spidey and his amazing friends. So I'm sure there's a new crop of little kids who are enjoying that Iron Man one as well.
Oh, for certain. And then actually that new Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur was actually kind of cute too. So, and I think they might have another season coming up, and that might be also taking a while, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there's stuff out there. Regardless, folks, that's it for the books of the week. Before we get into the news section, let's get our first ad read.
Our first ad read for this episode is for Blue Apron. Blue Apron's meal delivery service. Fresh ingredients and incredible recipes delivered weekly to your door. Skip the grocery store and make incredible meals at home with Blue Apron, always shipped free right to your home. And now the listeners of the Comic Book Chronicles can get $30 off your first Blue Apron order. To place your first order with $30 off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us. That's cspn.us. Then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down to the Blue Apron link and sign up for your first order. Blue Apron through cspn.us. Do it today. And now we get into the news.
Cinematic news will do about this time. Okay, well, I'll be putting that one in for my own benefit. But the Phantom live action series is in the works from filmmaker Reginald Hudlin and King Features. But the funny part about this article is that the thing that people took away from it, not being that, the thing that's front and center. But I'll get into that in a second. So yeah, there's a live action TV series based on the Lee Falk's classic comic strip The Phantom is in the work from, quote, Candy Cane Lane and Sydney filmmaker Reginald Hudlin. From according to the Variety, Hudlin will direct and produce the TV series, which is in the development stage at Hearst-owned King Features. That goes into the character here, but the one thing that I wanted to pick up that other folks picked up on, which is kind of funny, way down deep in the article, somehow somebody took the fact that if you're watching the video version, you can see what I'm talking about. There's a line or two in the article says, along with his work in film and TV, Hudlin is a vet of the comic book world. Hudlin previously wrote Black Panther issues for Marvel Comics, which he did, and is now the co-owner of a comic book company, Milestone Media. A feature film based on Milestone's Static Shock character is currently in development. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because that bit of news, as far as I know, has not changed since 2020 when it was originally announced. So, and oops, I forgot to have the wrong shot going on there. But anyway, but people took this in this article saying, "Oh, there's an update. It's an update for that thing." There's not been no update on that thing. I have looked. So they just put this in this article saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, that was a thing that he was also, that he was also doing." But there has been no updates to that Static Shock movie at all that I've seen since it being initially announced in 2020. So the fact that people picked it up and ran with it is adorable. But anyway, next up.
After playing Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones, Charles Dance has found a new family patriarch to portray. Sources tell Deadline that the Game of Thrones actor is in talks to join DC Studios' The Batman Part 2. If a deal closes, he would join Robert Pattinson, who is set to reprise his role as the Caped Crusader in the upcoming sequel that Reeves is writing and directing. DC had no comment.
And why would they? Sure.
Just real quick, I had to scroll a little bit. While unconfirmed, it is believed that Charles Dance would play Charles Dent, father to Gotham District Attorney Harvey Dent, who will be played by Sebastian Stan. Scarlett Johansson is on board to play Dent's wife. So we have the Winter Soldier playing Harvey Dent, and the Black Widow playing Harvey Dent's wife.
Mm-hmm. Fitting, huh?
Whose name escapes me, but I know that it is definitely a part of the Batman the Animated Series.
Was it? I don't remember Dent being married. I remember him being with somebody, but I thought they were like dating. I don't remember that they were.
Oh, you could be right. You could be right. You could be right. My memory might be failing me.
I don't remember. It's been a while, but he was definitely attached to somebody. So that is a thing in that. Which a couple of great episodes of that one, because if I remember correctly, it was a two-parter. But yeah, all right, cool. The Dent's in the house, and Marvel represents. Von Gloom says, "Oh gosh, oh wait, no." He says, "My girls like this kid Spidey show, but they haven't liked the Tony show, so or haven't typed Tony as he called it." Oh gosh, he is going to raise more deviant and warped kids. You know, hey, we know what Harvey gets into, so or a version of what Harvey gets into, so it's gonna be fine. It's fine. Coyote versus Acme official trailer has been released. The film that was saved from Warner's Axe revealed first footage. The movie that should have been still no, let me not say that. It might be actually pretty good. They could have saved Batgirl though. Anyway, apparently the trailer's out there. The footage shows Coyote, Wiley, I'm just going to call him because that's his name. I don't know why I just call him Coyote, but hiring Billboard accident lawyer Kevin Avery and his legal team to sue Acme Corporation, represented by its slick corporate counsel John Cena, who's Buddy Crane, whose character's name is Buddy Crane. Like, so they got Peacemaker playing another character in the thing, but yeah, okay. Anyway, for his defective products,
you can't see him. I'm kidding.
Clearly. So yeah, and for the defective products, yada yada yada. That's the whole thing. That's the premise of this this movie. I'm trying to see if there's an actual date that we're going to get this. I don't see one, but apparently, since we're getting the first trailer, it's not going to be. Oh wait, here we go. It's August 28th is when we're going to see it. And they do also mention Batgirl, which was also done and completely shelved. So yeah, which we should see. Anyway, Von Gloom says, think Harvey had somebody after he dated Poison Ivy briefly in the animated series. I thought that was before that. Or it was because of, if it was because of Poison Ivy that happened, but he was with somebody. No, it was a different thing. That was a whole different thing. I thought the Poison Ivy thing happened later. No,
I don't remember.
No. Wait, I think Von Gloom was right, because I think it was Poison Ivy in like disguise, and then things happened, but it was definitely somebody else there that was kind of liking him or something. I don't know. Regardless, hey, guess what? Batman TS is out there. You can always go and check those episodes. Next up, though,
Paramount's $110 billion mega deal for Warner Brothers Discovery got the green light from Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders this past Tuesday morning, as they voted to approve the merger that would combine two of Hollywood's legacy studios. The shareholders, however, rejected Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav's lucrative compensation package, sending a message to its board in the process. The votes are preliminary, with Warner Brothers Discovery expected to release more complete results later on. The company's secretary said when announcing the preliminary results that shareholders overwhelmingly voted to approve the merger. With shareholder approval secured, Paramount, led by CEO David Ellison, just needs to clear. I love how casual they write this. Still needs to clear the remaining regulatory hurdles, particularly in Europe, to close the deal.
This would normally necessitate a Simpsons laugh. Y'all know the one. I'm just gonna go with something like "Now that I can do this."
Into the shotguns.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna happen, but still, the whole thing is still kind of crazy anyway. But you know, whatever. And it's kind of sad. Next up, though, Spider-Man Noir showrunner says that there are other unannounced.
I was going to say, if you really want the Simpsons laugh.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know you had it on you.
I still have it. Still have it.
Nice. Spider-Man showrunner says there are other unannounced Spider-Man variant projects in the works, which I don't know if that's a threat or not, but let's see. Oren Uziel has revealed that there are several unannounced projects. They, however, are focused on Spider-Man Noir or Spider Noir, but they know that there are others in the works. He explained in a new issue of SFX magazine. Y'all know what it is, which is on shelves now. The quote continues, "I've talked a bit to the people working on them, and I think they are very exciting. They are following a little bit of that same formula as Spider Noir, that same idea of taking a genre and elevating it by putting a spider variant into it. It opens up a whole new world, and it is just extremely exciting opportunity." I think you're just blowing smoke there, Pally. But you did not mention the Daniel Kaluuya Spider-Punk movie, or could be actually potentially referencing that movie according to this article, but we don't know. But apparently this article is saying that there's been rumors for a while that a Spider-Gwen movie is also in development at Sony. I want to say there was, but also it was like, you know, animated, like the Spider-Verse, like it was one of the Spider-Verse movies type situations, from what I remember. But I don't know if this is the same thing as that from way back. Von Gloom says, "I love that for Zaslav. How does it impact HBO Max?" Nothing, because I think that's a slightly separate issue. A Penny Parker mecha anime series by Studio Trigger would actually be pretty cool. You hit up on something. Hopefully they move past the Evangelion homage. Yeah. Don't hold out hope for that one. Next up, though,
Ryan Reynolds confirmed in a Sunday Today interview that he's got some stuff already written when asked about Deadpool's return in the MCU. While there's no information on what the actor is cooking up for his foul-mouthed superhero, it appears it will not be a standalone Deadpool 4 movie. Ryan Reynolds says he's got some stuff written, but I don't think I'm ever going to center him again. He says that as it concerns Reynolds' iteration of the character, he says Deadpool is a supporting character. He is a guy who is great in a group. Okay.
I feel like that means he's writing an X-Force movie, and I hope that's not the case. It's just me. Next up, though, Disney announces Infinity Vision premium theatrical experience. And this was news from CinemaCon that it didn't get to last week. But in collaboration with global theater partners, the new premium large format certification signifies a theater meets rigorous technical standards for the ultimate movie-going experience. Stop me if you've heard that before. Infinity Vision theaters are outfitted with the largest screens for maximum scale, superior laser projection. Wow, bringing that whole tech back, huh? Well, I mean, it's not back, but regardless, for brightness and clarity, as well as a fully immersive premium audio formats. there are currently 75 Infinity Vision certified PLFs in the United States, with 300 abroad. So, I figured
if you can't get IMAX,
right,
you're going to make up your own version of not IMAX.
And that's the thing I was about to get to, because like there are so many. I'm not even sure at this point competing would be the right word, but so many other formats that are out there that are kind of like that, like in other experiences, like D-Box and whatever that other one that you talked about that one time and other shit.
Right.
I'm saying like there's so many of that and not that many places to go see those, and more likely if they are in more populated areas like New York. So
right.
And don't really go that much farther than those places, if at all.
Right. I mean, listen, I'm not in a rush to see Dune 3. I will be in a rush to see Doomsday. Right. The fact that it's not in IMAX doesn't really change my thinking on going to see Doomsday.
Right.
Agreed. If I can find an Infinity Vision screen, that's available, then I'll probably plunk down the extra money to go watch it. Right.
Yeah.
If I've got a bunch of people in tow, or if it's just myself and like a couple of buddies, or then and we're comfortable traveling to this particular theater, it'd be great. But if it's just myself, maybe another friend or two, standard projection is going to be fine. I just want to watch the movie. So,
agreed. Go ahead.
No. I was going to move on. You have something else to add?
Actually, yeah, there's an update to that last story in that apparently David Zaslav merger payout approved by just 17%. Thank you, ad blocker. Of the WB shareholders, 82% opposed. So wait, how does it? Wait.
No, they're just counting the votes.
Right, but they said, but they can't be approved if 82% opposed. And okay. So yeah, basically he still ain't getting it, or it's still not getting it because they said it was rejected, but the title says approved. So that was weird. Anyway, nothing changed, nothing to see here. Move along. Next up.
Okay. No, it's me.
Yeah.
It's me. So this is kind of an opinion piece because apparently Invincible fans are crowning season 4 the finale peak, despite one shocking change, because the finale had no fighting in it. Basically, very low, very like mild fighting, as opposed to all the gruesome stuff. I guess that was the big change.
Well, I'm assuming it's also the ending. Oh wait, no, it does say that, huh? Okay, maybe I read something wrong.
There's no bloodshed.
There is bloodshed, just not actual. Well, actually, see, again, that still kind of goes back to that one part that I alluded to earlier. Because did that actually happen or not?
No, it was imagination.
The
Up
first
until
part?
the end. Yeah,
The first part.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, well, I only able to say that is because there's no character that was around for that one. In fact, they weren't even on Earth when that happened, so it doesn't seem like it was good. Regardless, even if that's the case, it is what it is. Because I guess that would make more sense with what I was thinking, or against what I was thinking, because it didn't make any sense. Regardless, next up, G.I. Joe, Power Rangers, Gym, and more is set for Hasbro Legends channel. So this is one of those streaming channels that we have so many of, that the 2B and Pluto folks and the like. But Hasbro decided to say, hey, we're just going to drop all of these on one channel. Let's go. So Hasbro Entertainment and Get After It Media are partnering to launch Hasbro Legends, a new linear channel bringing Hasbro's most popular IPs to over-the-air broadcast outlets and free ad-supported streaming television, aka FAST. The new channel will debut across Games Expansive Network, which reaches more than 70 million homes across the U.S., and will also include upcoming owned and operated digital ecosystem, Heartland Plus, with over 100 plus years of operation since its founding in 1923, according to this article. Hasbro, shape generated. Okay, no, we're just getting wanking about Hasbro here, and so we don't need to go through all of that. But let's see. The Chattanooga, Tennessee-based game was established in 2008 and operates around 80 TV stations across the U.S. and also owns subsidiaries, the Family Channel, Heartland, Retro TV, Revan, and the Action Channel. So I guess it's going to be like what's the TV station? MeTV, the kind of like that kind of situation, but also will be on, I guess, your Pluto TVs and Tubies, and the like. So, sure, why not? I mean, MeTV's doing pretty good with that one channel, as far as I know. So, sure, I'll tune into that once or twice, even though half the stuff is already out there on YouTube streaming. like just 24/7 streams of half of this stuff is already out there. So, sure, why not? Next up, though. Oh, perfect. You got this one.
Sure. Okay, that's it. Got it. So, in a recent interview, the chief Godzilla officer over at Toho confirmed that not only will Godzilla's universe in Japan expand, but we might see previous iterations of the beast return to the silver screen. So, in a recent interview with the outlet News Picks in Japan, Chief Godzilla Officer Keiji Ota discussed the creation of Godzilla World, which is Toho's answer to North America's Monsterverse. Right? So we have Monsterverse with Legendary, with their version of Godzilla and King Kong, and the Monarch TV show. So in addition to the Godzilla films directed by people like Hideaki Anno and Takashi Yamazaki, if Toho creates the original concept ourselves, we'll be able to strategically roll out spin-offs as well. Oh, it's a Godzilla CU.
Right. it's basically the Monsterverse, but their version of it. It's like, no,
Yeah,
we got the US version. They're getting the original recipe version.
Right, exactly. They're calling it Godzilla World. Call it the Godzilla CU.
Mhm.
No new projects have been confirmed outside of Godzilla -1 and Godzilla -0. There are plenty of kaiju and stories that could spawn from Godzilla World, especially with Takashi Yamazaki's universe fresh in the minds of fans. Reminder, I was just looking this up. That's why I had to delay a little bit jumping into the story. Godzilla -0 is out on November 6th in North America.
Right, and depending on how long ago they started setting this up, we can expect some glimpses of Godzilla World in -0. I suspect.
Yeah. I mean, I got to look at the calendar. November 6th, we're jumping ahead all the way to basically the end of the year, but November 6th is a Friday. So I'm going to assume November 5th, we
Right.
may be going on movie protocol because Godzilla -0 is coming out. We may be.
Yeah, that's probably a safe enough bet. Given that.
Alrighty.
I need to go back and watch -1 again.
Yep.
And actually Shin Godzilla, but that's a side note. To answer your question, Vine Gloom, I don't believe they are removing G.I. Joe and Gemini holograms from Pluto TV or Tubi. I don't see any reason. That article did. I went back and checked. That article didn't say anything about it, but I don't think they're removing anything as far as we know. So, and I don't see any reason why they would, honestly, because the channel it sounds like they're trying to set up might end up be on those services anyway, along with the fact that you can, watch that stuff on demand. So, but like I said, I that's me speculating. Regardless, next up, we get a little bit of anime news. Okay, that's different.
Oh, you want a Gotcha Man one? Here you go.
Sure. Hey, I would have taken Spy versus Spy as well. But I think that us doing that is probably longer than the anime news, because Spring 2026's hottest Shonen Jump anime confirms Netflix release date and English dub schedule. And that show is well, it says here that the Spring 2026 anime schedule is currently in the midst of its first few seasons, and fans been able to check out all sorts of new anime releases. Okay, yeah. Oh, we got you, partner. Let's see. Yuki's Suenaga and Takamasa Mue's Akane Banashi has been one of the most notable anime releases of the spring, according to this article. But it unfortunately might have gone under the radar for folks. Yes, and I'm sure that's why you brought it up. You brought that
yes,
up.
I'm like, what are you talking about? My radar has not picked this up.
Right, and that was calculated. I'm sure that's why they put it on here. But regardless, that's about to get a whole lot more attention because the show is set for May 17th release date on Netflix, but has also confirmed that the English dub for the anime is starting at the same time as well. Let's see. Akane Banashi previously noted how it was going to be releasing with Netflix this May, and seemed a bit disappointing to fans who wanted the show to have a much wider platform than its usual YouTube release. But now with the confirmation of the release date, it seems that the delay until May was for the English dub production as well. Netflix has confirmed that the series will be debuting with the first 2 episodes of the English dub release, and then will release a new schedule on a weekly basis from that point forward. So, but apparently you can check out on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel for that anime. So therein lies that. Next up.
Alrighty, we move on into scroll.
Oh, while he's doing that, by the way, solicitations were out for July. So there may be 1 or 2 bits of news that'll come out for that. And I don't remember if I got Marvels or not, but I need to go hunt to see if that one's actually out.
Yeah, that's worth telling people about, so we can go check out. We can go update our pull lists for July. Right. Next up, Manta now includes manga. Gosh, Manta now includes manga on its platform. From webtoons to web novels, Manta aims to be an all-in-one story platform with its latest inclusion of manga. In response to the growing hunger for online content, the webcomics platform Manta announced that as of April 7th, it will be expanding into the realm of manga. With this announcement, it announced a number of big franchises on its upcoming slate, including The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, Windbreaker, and Medalist. And my response to that is...
Who?
So, yeah. Okay, Manta.
This is a reference only certain folks of a certain vintage will get, but as he takes the T off his varsity letter, he changes Manta into manga. Bum, bum, bum. Like I said, you have to be of a certain vintage for that one. Some of y'all to get it.
Right.
Letterman, folks, come on. Anyway, now we get into a little bit of comic book news.
That's funny. Here we go.
The Legend of Korra trade paperback called Kia and the Secret of the Sand is coming out. Publication date is July 28th of this year. $13.99 the price. It'll be 80 pages, 6x9 format. If you are interested in that, then you can go check it out from the folks at Dark Horse and your whatever fine booksellers that you may peruse. Next up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take this one too, because Avatar Legends, the role-playing game, has a humble bundle that is out right now for just a mere, well, at the very least, $49 or more. You can get, come Come on now. You can get physical items, by the way. So you get the role-playing game starter sets, a dice pack, cloth mat, and pie show tile. You get a dice bag, get a GM screen, and journal pack. It's all, again, all physical goods that will help support the ACLU. And apparently, oh shoot, the offer ends the day after this recording, and 1 day and 13 hours after this recording specifically. So, you know, if that is something you're interested in, and you caught this show, you caught me saying this as we were recording, hey, and you're an Avatar fan, go for it. And this is the 20th anniversary physical RPG bundle, by the way, for Avatar Legends, the role-playing game. Next up,
Tom King and Dan Parent reunite for Jughead Pie-mageddon. Tom King and Dan Parent are set to release a new one-shot comic, Jughead Pie-mageddon, featuring a chaotic pie-eating contest in Riverdale that promises wild slapstick humor and significant consequences. Okay. Let's see when this is out and how much. This releases July 15th in comic shops nationwide. Cover price, it's 32 pages. Cover price of $4.99.
and you can see part of the cover right there. There you go. Next up, the Hellboy universe sets sail in the Foundry in Peril on the Seas. Mike Mignola and Chris Robertson and Christopher Mitten to launch a new Hellboy universe miniseries exploring Queen Victoria's secret agency's adventures. So it is called The Foundry. It is from the world of Hellboy, as you see, as the banner at the top says. So, yeah, therein lies that. It's 4 issues. Let's see. Written by Mignola and Robertson, with art by Christopher Mitten, colors by Michelle Madsden, letters by Clem Robbins, and all 4 issues will feature covers by Christopher Mitten. And they go on sale. The first issue goes on sale August 12th from the Dark Horse, of course. Next up.
Alrighty. Dark Horse announces 2 Marvel archival collections. Look at that. Look at that. Just need a little bit of time to open this. Dark Horse Comics has announced 2 more archival collections of Marvel comic books, Marvel Villains, Magneto, and the Best of Marvel's Vampire Tales, Volume 1. Marvel Villains Magneto is the first of a planned series of collections focusing on the bad guys of the Marvel Universe. It will be 376 pages long, a 7.5-inch by 11-inch hardcover volume. Lots of stories from across the character's history. This book will be released in all channels on October 6th, 2026, with an MSRP of $65. The Best of Marvel's Vampire Tales Volume 1 is a selection of stories from Vampire Tales, a black and white magazine launched by Marvel's sister company, Magazine Management, in 1973. Let's see here. It's 360 pages long, 8.375 by 10.875 inch hardcover. It's going to include stories from a variety of creators because this was not originally a comic book. There was more adult content in these black and white stories. It was a black and white magazine. This will be released on August 18th with an MSRP of $65.
Yeah. Next up.
All right.
DC expands lead over Marvel in Q1 2026 market share. DC had a 34.7% share of the market in Q1 2026, opening up its lead over Marvel. Doesn't mean the stories are better. Which has a 29.4% share. I'm sure part of that had to do with DCKO also. But in Q4 2025, let's see, DC and Marvel had market share of 32.6 and 29.6 respectively. Let's see, in Q4, the increase in DC shares seems to have come largely from non-top 10 publishers. as that category shrank from 9.3% in Q4 2025 to 8.5% in Q1 2026, a bigger swing than seen by any individual publisher. The aforementioned DCKO and DC's Absolute line, as well as the Batman series, continued to sell well in the first quarter, and of course the DC Marvel crossover Superman Spider-Man #1, which was indeed last month. March was the top-selling comic of the 3-month period in terms of both dollar and unit sales. Then it goes into Image, Dark Horse, and Boom and whatnot, but therein lies that. Next up,
At least on League of Comic Geeks, the Marvel July solicits have not hit yet.
yeah. Usually one of them are gonna, either DC or Marvel is gonna be the last one out the gate. So
right. And next up, Miles Morales is back in black and red for a new chapter with a new creative team. It's coming at you in his classic red and black costume, and Miles Morales, Spider-Man #1, by former guest of the Comic Book Chronicles and former Ultimate Black Panther writer Bryan Edward Hill and Psylocke artist Nico Leon, for what Marvel Comics is billing as the next era for the character. Apparently, Miles is back in Brooklyn after an eventful trip to the Ultimate Universe. See Ultimate Miles Morales returning to the usual grind of school, family, and fighting supervillains. Okay, this is going to be released on August 12th with a cover by Simone DeMeo. Okay.
of course he's been back in Brooklyn if you're reading the Marvel Infinity comic that Ziegler's still writing. So therein lies that. But yeah, we'll be checking this out. Good to see Miles back, and still hadn't caught up on any of that stuff in the Ultimate business.
Yeah, we'll see we'll see what Gen Z / new slang Bryan Edward Hill tries to incorporate into this book.
He was restrained. Well, I mean, he was restrained in Ultimate Black Panther, so I don't think it should hopefully be that case. Either way, football is celebrated with Marvel Soccer variant covers. To celebrate Soccer Mania this summer, Marvel heroes hit the field in Marvel Soccer variant covers. The newest monthly cover collection from Marvel Stormbreakers. The crowd goes wide, this is according to this article, as the Avengers, X-Men, and Spider-Man and more suit up in a fun new jersey designs to score winning goals, make dramatic saves, and in Deadpool's case, argue with the ref in exciting soccer matches. Featured across 8 upcoming titles, these high-energy covers spotlight the group's dynamic skills to depict kinetic action that leap off the page, according to this article. So we can see Jonas Scarf's Wolverine cover with Sabretooth. Oh, that's going to be for...
that Daredevil and Bullseye cover is pretty good.
Yep. So let's see. There's the Spidey cover, which... is that Sandman? I guess that is. Sandman and
Norman.
And Norman Osborn. I'm assuming that's Harry way in the back for Amazing Spider-Man 30. Let's see, Jeff Shaw's cover for it's a cover that Agent 70 just mentioned for Daredevil #4. That's kind of funny. I feel like a move like that actually happened in Daredevil Born Again actually this week. This is funny. Simone DeMeo's Iron Man for Iron Man #6. Luciano Vecchio's Venom 259. See, Gurihiri for the aforementioned Deadpool one for Gary's, shouldn't be going through all this, but X-Men 31. Okay, I like this Gene one. It's kind of almost anime from Alessandro Capuccio for for X-Men United, because I guess Phoenix is no longer being published.
Right.
And there are those. Those are them. They are those. So wait. June 3rd, that's when that's going to start kicking all of those off. Next up, kicking all of those off. I didn't even intend that. Anyway,
Marvel Cosmic Invasion, the art of the game hardcover, is a 120-page art book filled with concept art, sprites, and more for Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This is, believe it or not, another book published by Dark Horse. This is a book that offers page after page of character studies, level explorations, and retro-styled sprite art, all accompanied by artists' commentary that reveals insights into the game's development. Witness the creation of an epic cosmic conflict. It's going to be published August 4th, 2026 in 120-page hardcover. The price of this hardcover is $29.99. Seems reasonable.
Yeah, some of those art books can be kind of fun also. I might want to thumb through that if I see it out there somewhere. Next up, TruMoo. Star Wars Blue Milk from Dairy Farms America is making its grand return in time for, of course, May the 4th be with you. So to celebrate Star Wars Day, May the 4th, Dairy Farmers of America bringing back the blue milk that was from a couple of years ago or from last year. I don't remember. According to this article, it looks like from a couple of years ago. To give fans a taste of that galaxy far, far away. This beverage, which is inspired by the drink we first saw Luke Skywalker. Y'all know what the fuck blue milk is. Come on, folks. If you're a Star Wars fan. Anyway, I remember seeing this carton. I don't remember picking up anything because I figured all it was just blue coloring.
I haven't seen it. If I see it, I probably will pick one up.
Right, because I don't think it's going to it's changing the taste. It's just blue food coloring in it. You know, not to spoil that for anybody, but you know what? Still, why not? It's just fun. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I thought that was Marissa Tomei drinking blue milk. I was about to say, whoa. There's a video attached to this, but yeah. Either way, that's the thing that's coming. It might be out there by the time. Oh wait, yeah. As a matter of fact, let's see, April 16th. So it should be out there in your stores. Catch it.
Yeah, I definitely will be on the hunt. I'm not on the hunt because I'm not going to
on lookout.
Right, I'm not going to kill myself to try to get some blue milk, but I've got to take a look in maybe multiple grocery stores to see if I can grab some blue milk.
Right, which weirdly enough reminded me of a Heavy D song, but we won't go there. Next up,
Masters of the Universe is about to make its long-awaited return to the big screen, which we probably will not be going on movie protocol for. And that impending debut has also brought a host of new toys to the market, courtesy of Mattel, including the brand new Chronicles line. It couldn't be a more perfect time to start your new Masters of the Universe collection. No, thank you. And if you are in the market for a He-Man, the He-Man figure you've been waiting for is finally here. Is it the definitive He-Man? Let's see. That said, you don't have all the time in the world to pick it up, so here's how to get it. The new figure is from the talented team at Mondo. So this is going to be a little bit of an uppricing and upscale. So this is Masters of the Universe He-Man Deluxe 2.0 1/6 scale figure, timed edition. The figure is only available for pre-order until April 28th, 2026, and can be picked up for, hold on, $285, which isn't cheap. Thank you for the understatement. Despite the small window and the price, though, this might just be the best He-Man figure ever, as it includes all the accessories and armor to create 3 completely different versions of He-Man, and they all look fantastic. I sound like Charlie Brown. Fantastic. So, yeah, this is a pretty intense looking Mondo He-Man figure.
I mean, it's coming with a lot.
Yeah, it is
accessories. So
it is. It makes multiple different multiple figures basically.
Sky Cycle not included, of course. I don't think BattleCat is either.
That's
as one of those pictures may have suggested, but I'm pretty sure there's probably a BattleCat figure. I clicked through to look at the pre-order and clicking through some of the pictures. So interesting. Yeah, not for me. Maybe Dirt. I don't know if he's still into that. I don't know, but I had to ask him. Next up, though, let's see. So we got some images from some Japanese or Chinese site, I guess. I can't think we've always Chinese. I don't know, but there's a color prototype of the Great General Toys DJS BS01 Masterpiece Scale IDW Ultra Magnus figure.
That's a mouthful.
That very much is a mouthful. Actually, not a bad figure, looking figure. If you're watching the video version, you can see it. Kind of looks a little bit more anime. So therein lies that. Of course, you got the, his trailer and whatnot, with the specs right there on the side. I feel like if I called it a bootleg, that would be giving it short shrift. But there are these like third and fourth party folks that are making some of these stuff. And I'm not saying because that actually looks like from what I could tell, a fairly decently solid build of a figure that can also transform. But yeah, so as the name would imply, it's a take on the IDW Ultra Magnus from the Lost Light comics, which I still need to go back and read. 34 centimeters tall. Got his battle hammer and gun, alt mode, because it transforms. And apparently it's planned for release in early July of this year, maybe possibly not here in the States, but you'll be able to find it somewhere, I'm sure. Next up,
new premium card album is part of the Secrets of Strixhaven accessories line for Magic the Gathering. This album is a premium card album and is an officially licensed product that is part of the Secrets of Strixhaven accessories line. The album looks like a spell book in a slipcase that has a retro leatherette surface. Each album has a gold color foiled Strixhaven college symbol. The spine, on the spine, 5 different college symbols are available. Inside the album, fans can store up to 360 cards on 20 side-loading pages. Each page has 18 pockets. These albums allow for, man, this has got to be edited. These albums allow for easy horizontal and vertical storage and look great on bookshelves as a display piece. These albums retail for $49.99 each.
the sad part about what Agent 70 just said is like he's more right than he thinks, but also it's not a long article outside of that.
Right.
So
It's just sad.
Yeah, but hey, hopefully folks out there, MagicCon is coming. MagicCon Vegas specifically is coming up. Hey, hopefully folks have gotten their Strixhaven boxes. I know I don't have one yet, but I need to go grab me some. Put that in for next week. As we get to the last article of the night, which is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 has been announced for PC and console in first.
Scribe
Shut up.
makes step-by-step guides for
Okay.
any
No.
process with
Y'all don't hear
AI.
that. Y'all don't hear anything. That's gonna be cut out anyway. So, but anyway,
Nice.
like I said, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 announced for PC and console in first trailer. And I still have yet to watch this trailer, but I know what Dragon Ball Xenoverse is, and I look forward eagerly to the continuing adventures of Eggplant Jr., which is a character I created in, I believe, the second Dragon Ball Xenoverse. So if you don't know what Dragon Ball Xenoverse is, it's basically yet another Dragon Ball game, but you're one, there is a lot of fighting. 2, you're learning from the various Dragon Ball characters, moves and whatnot that you can, shape and configure for yourself. And of course, there's a character creator of which you can run around as your own original character, OC as it is, in that world. And I'm sure if it's anything like the second one, you will be able to, port your last character over into this new one. If they take that out of there, that'd be sad business. and Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 was heavily supported, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of DLC for this one as well. But let's see, it's apparently that Xenoverse 3 was technically already revealed by Bandai Namco earlier this year as what was previously called Age 1000. The title now serves as the name of the new world in which the game is set, with the trailer showing off what it has to offer. There's also a lot of time shenanigans going on in the book, meaning you're traveling back and forth through Dragon Ball history to help out folks. Yeah, in that. So yeah, therein lies that. I don't see an actual time. Oh, here we go. This says just 2026. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. That's not right. It's been 10 years since Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Wow. I didn't realize that. Also 10 years without Prince, but that's a whole nother situation. But yeah, no date in here, so I'm sure we'll probably hear more in whatever. Actually, in June. Now that I think about it, because not CE, not E3 is happening. So I'm sure we'll probably see a little bit more then, maybe even a release date. Don't know. Regardless, folks, that's it for the show, for the news, and almost the show. But first, we have one last ad read.
Our last ad read for this show is keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Visit cspn.us, then click the keep our podcast free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, or Marvel Legends. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link, Amazon sends the CSPN a payment that helps us keep the Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. Amazon.com through cspn.us. Do it today.
That's it, folks. Well, we'll be out here next year. Excuse me. Next week, we got more shows, -1, apparently. So we're slowly whittling them down.
My goodness, we definitely needed to at least knock one of those shows off of our schedule. So
weirdly enough, it's not the one that started first, if I'm not mistaken, because didn't Monarch start before Invincible? I thought it did. I might be off by that. But regardless, so we got Monarch, we got Daredevil, we still got Maul to deal with. And I don't think anything else is coming up anytime soon out until movie protocol is enacted. So you got that going for us. Excuse me. There was something else I was going to say, and I don't remember what it is. But I'm just going to say, hey, folks. Oh, wait. Yes, there was going to say. There may be, if you look at the clickbait section of the show notes, might be a blast from the past once again in the form of a classic team up that Agent 70 and I were on that we relived a slight bit of before the show. It was
go classic team up. That was one of my favorite theme songs that he did. That Classic was able to engineer.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great song.
Yep. And if you are, if you're new to Comic Book Chronicles and you don't know anything about the Coastal of the Podcast Network, you should go back and look at the founding, listen to if you can find, and I know there's some still out there in various places, and link to Coastal of the Podcast. You should go check that out. That show continues to be, I miss that show a whole lot. With them fellers. They've all gone on to bigger and better things. If I'm not mistaken. But that being the case, hey, I have been Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at News and the Need on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram. Agent_70 on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads. Find this here podcast on the Coastal of the Podcast Network. That's cspn.us.
Do it today.
You can also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Coastal of the Podcast Network. But you can also find us recording every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, probably more closer to 10 o'clock, let's be real. YouTube.com/TheKliqNation, TheKliqNation, and Twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts. That definitely helps people find our show. Hit that notification button so you know when we are on live and direct, and smash that like button.
And hey, Comic Book Chronicles is on Blue Sky, as I keep forgetting to put to mention. So yeah, we post the show there as well as our as well as on Twitter. But hey, Comic Chronicles dot Blue Sky by dot B Skies dot social or whatever. They really need to shorten those names. Catch it, like you might even see some news before it reaches the show, because that's kind of how I gather some of it, a little behind the scenes. But yeah, folks, that is it. Von Gloom, appreciate you for being here, good sir, as always. Later days to you as well.
Shout out.
As Von Gloom would say, stay geeky, folks. But as I normally would say, this has been the Comic Book Chronicles. Peace.
One.
My time is up. Peace out to Brooklyn.
Good evening, Rick.
Would you believe it's Doctor Doom?
What's on your evil mind?
Hold your insulting tongue and mark my words